What's up, guys? We're back with episode 8 of the 5D podcast. We're missing Sean today, but we got my co-host Corey here as always,
What's up?
and we're about to dive into how to ascend to 5D consciousness.
We've been talking about it, but let's explain where we're going and how we're getting there, right?
And let's go more in depth with the 5D.
All right, so the 5D, right? So we go 1D, 2D, 3D. We're existing in 3D, Earth. Right now, we're moving to the 4D, 5D Earth switch, a new Earth, right? And you can hear Eckhart Tolle talk about a new Earth. You could hear the law of one explain a new Earth, right? And that new Earth, the 4D is focusing on love, and that 5D is the wisdom. So we're saying 5D because we're going from the love right to the wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And just to give you an example, so the archetype of the fourth density, which is love, is Yeshua or Jesus, right? Because Jesus preached his whole essence of being was solely love, solely forgiveness, radiating that oneness consciousness that Corey is me and I am Corey and I am you and you am and you are me, right? The oneness consciousness, seeing everyone as an outward manifestation of ourselves, right? So to give you that's the fourth D archetype, Jesus, right? The fifth dimension or fifth density archetype would be that of Buddha, right? Because Buddha learned how his whole essence, he mastered the love, but he also mastered the wisdom, which is the 5D. So the 5D is, like we've said in the past, bringing the two and the one together, the love and the wisdom, right? And we get the 5D. So that's pretty much what Buddha, he's the archetype of that. And we know Buddha was highly conscious in meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, all aspects of
all mastery of self, right? All this information that we're trying to preach, like the ancient societies, all the esoteric knowledge, that's all great, and that's good to know where we came from. But that
mysteries and occult doesn't necessarily mean bad. When people talk about occult, they automatically get turned off, like they think it's like occult devil worshippers, this and that. All occult means is just mysteries or hidden knowledge, essentially.
Hidden, yeah, because that goes back to the ancient Egyptian mystery schools and all the way through. Yeah,
the ancient mystery schools,
exactly.
the Atlantic mystery schools.
So when we're talking about the knowledge, instead of talking about the occult, the esoteric knowledge, we're talking about that self knowledge. Knowledge of self is what the Buddha is preaching,
which
right?
Isn't esoteric at all.
No, not esoteric at all. Because so when you see everyone else as an outward manifestation of yourself, the world is a mirror and it mirrors what you put out into the world, right? So that's just the principle of correspondence, right? Like as above, so below. So
explain that a little bit. So that is the 7 Hermetic principles, correct?
Yeah, the 7 Hermetic principles. So Hermes Trismegistus, right? Hermes Trismegistus is also Thoth,
the Atlantean priest king.
The Atlantean priest king and god from Egyptian culture. He's Mercury from Roman culture, and he is Hermes from Greek culture, right? Hermes, the Greek god. So the 7 Hermetic principles come from the Kabbalion, which is written by the 3 initiates, right? And it's a compilation of all of Hermes Trismegistus's best works.
I want to read that. Billy Carson talks about the
Kabbalah. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I've kind of skimmed through it. I haven't read all of it, but also another great one is Hermetica, which I have downloaded, which is also very similar to that, but more focused on.
That's actually wild that you just brought that up.
Why is that?
Because I had a dream. You know how we talked about dreams in episode 7? I literally had a dream where I had a copy of the Hermetica.
Really?
Like literally last night. And like I've never even I've only done little research on that.
Okay, yeah. So the Hermetica is the Corpus Hermeticum is in there, and then a couple other works by Hermes, which I've kind of skimmed over in research, but I need to dive into that because I'm big into all the Hermes Trismegistus kind of stuff. You know, Thoth, read the Emerald Tablets. I know you have a whole lot of good info in there. But back to the 7 Hermetic principles, right? So the 7 Hermetic principles are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, gender, rhythm, and cause and effect, right? So people who are Hermeticists would believe that these are the natural laws of the universe because everything acts upon them, right?
I
So
guess
the
I'm a hermeticist.
yeah, no, I guess I would say so too. And Hermeticists believe that there is one true doctrine or one true theology that encompasses all, right? Not that it's a religion, but it's just a core belief system, and you can find those same core
Or laws of the universe,
core
essentially.
laws of the universe. Those core laws of the universe are found in almost every religion, at least one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Because those laws, those hermetic, seven hermetic principles transcend Earth.
Yes,
So
yes.
like we have like the Ten Commandments from the Bible, or the Hammurabi's Code, all these different principles that we live with and practice on Earth. But the seven Hermetic principles transcend Earth because they're universal laws that we
Yes.
share. So law of correspondence, um,
The law of
as above,
correspondence
so
is as
below.
above, so below. The
That
law of vibration is nothing rests and everything moves, understanding that everything is vibration. Polarity means everything has two poles, meaning everything has the possibility to go positive or negative, which is why this third density incarnation for us is so important, because this third density
it wouldn't
incarnation is
exist
where
without polarity.
exactly the soul needs to decide whether it's going to orient towards the positive or the negative path. So it has a choice. So that's why you have to vibrate at 500, which is that of love, before you can ascend to the positive path. Because until you ascend to love, there's still that chance that you could choose the negative polarity. And you have to be sure that you're going to choose the positive polarity to incarnate into a fourth density body. Now we have gender, which is everything is gender, masculine, feminine. You could see that in the universe, right? Sacred geometry is that shows, and then rhythm. Everything flows. Everything has tides. Look at the moon. Look at our tides. Look at the cycles of the Earth, the cycles of our galaxy, the great year, and then cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect. Something happens, and there's going to be an effect of it, and that's
Yep.
just common sense, essentially.
Yeah, and I want to go a little more in depth on the law of correspondence, which it states as above, so below, right? So
Hmm.
people, that's like such a basic term, but like essentially what it is saying that everything that is above us, so like heaven, space, is reflected down below, so on Earth, right, in the Earth plane. So that goes along with the densities of consciousness, because like if you think about the fourth density or the fifth density all the way up the densities, right? So what is in the fourth density below us would be the third density. So but what's in the third density is also reflected in the fourth, upwards and down as well. So everything is reflected in all densities of consciousness and all dimensions of time and space, right? So
Hmm.
that's a little breaking it down of
Hmm.
as above, so below.
So
People
another
don't
great
understand
thing
that.
about as above, so below, which you can notice. So we're incarnated in this third density body, right? And you hear the seven chakras, right? And you
Yeah.
know the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra. You have those seven chakras, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about in terms of the universe, you have seven densities until you reach the octave. You have seven musical notes until you reach the octave. So everything's operating on that fundamental seven, the seven hermetic laws, the seven chakras, the seven musical notes, the seven colors in the prism, right? And you're just moving up, and that's numerology, right? It's everywhere. There's a couple of really good people on the internet. Look at numerology,
Maybe.
and yeah, seven's a very important number. It's the it just is. And um
There's a lot of different numbers that mean a lot of different things.
yeah, exactly. But you look at that numerology and you notice like there's just so much correspondence between it. And
Yeah. And so getting off the topic of the seven hermetic principles, right? We want to really discuss how do we get to the level of 5D, right? How do we get to that fifth dimensional or fifth density vibration, right? And that is, like we talked about before, bringing the love and the wisdom together, right? That creating that balance. But that's easier said than done, right? So like how do we actually practice bringing the love and wisdom together? So essentially, to gain wisdom, you gotta find spiritual teachers. You gotta research into the esoteric knowledge of ancient tablets, ancient societies. You gotta learn what they were doing, right? Because they understood this wisdom. Like Buddha understood this wisdom. his teachings. You read like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Living and Dying, like all those Tibetan monks that have reached enlightenment on earth, like in their lifetime. Like that's all wisdom, bringing the wisdom and the love together. But actively practicing it is different. So we practice it by meditation, breath work, being a high vibe member of society, being a good member of
Treating
society.
others as you
Exactly, the
want to be
golden
treated.
rule, right? The golden rule: treat others how you would like to be treated. But like,
Hmm.
that's the golden rule for a reason, because of how powerful it is.
Yeah.
It literally, if you treat others how you would like to be treated, or essentially treat others as a outward
Hmm.
manifestation of yourself, you are acting out of love, and you
Yeah.
are essentially acting out of wisdom, and that is how to ascend to 5D and get your soul harvested into the next life, into the next dimension of consciousness.
So not even just treating others about how you want to be treated, right? Which everybody is an outward manifestation of yourself. But oh, I thought they just walked in that back door right there.
Uh,
Um, okay, so everyone is an outward manifest. Let me start that over. Everyone is an outward manifestation of yourself, but if you look at the world like a mirror and you understand the divinity in everybody and you see God in everything, right? We understand one universal creator, one infinite creator, which means the infinite creator is just infinitely creating, infinitely experiencing, which means everything inside of this creation is that infinite
so
creator.
yeah, we are the one infinite creator.
We are the one, which is
Like we're
brings us
sitting
to the
here
law
today
of one.
talking to you as the infinite creator,
Hmm. Yeah.
essentially
So
creating this
so when
podcast.
you can understand that everyone is outward manifestation of yourself, everyone is you. When you gain that knowledge of self, you gain that knowledge of others because you understand that that is yourself, but just a different reflection of it. It's like looking in a mirror, but you're not seeing yourself in that
Yeah,
mirror.
yeah.
It's just one part of yourself you're seeing.
And an easy way to do this, but not so easy, right, is letting go of the ego, right? Because the ego is the only thing. The ego is what makes us self-identify, right, and what makes us see others separate than ourselves. But the ego is nor good or bad. Nothing's is good or bad. But the ego is the only thing stopping us from seeing others as an outward manifestation of ourselves. So doing meditation, doing breath work, and being conscious of the fact of trying to or letting go of your ego, that's a very good way of um starting to practice the oneness consciousness by letting go of that ego.
Not
But
even
that,
just letting go of the ego, but it's just recognizing where
yeah,
the
that's
ego
what I was
is,
about to
right?
get into.
So like the ego is always going to exist. Like you come into a third density body and the ego is going to be there, but it's understanding your higher self and the ego are two separate things. You're going to have one voice in your head telling you one thing and one on the other. That's where you get the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other.
Same way, like your emotions are separate from yourself, the ego is separate from yourself. It's always going to be there. Your emotions are always going to be there. You can't just like poof, you can't just sit down in meditation one day and they magically disappear, right? Like your ego's never going to disappear, because that is the whole point of the 3D, right? You have to learn how to experience it and be with it, and allow it to simply be, but not allow it to fully control your thoughts and emotions, right? And another thing I want to get into is on, if you simply just look up the seven densities of consciousness, the law of one, all that, it gives you like the rundown of all the densities, right? So fifth density being that of light and wisdom, and it says learn how to love, or learn how to sacrifice, learn how to fuck, I just choked it, learn how to serve without self-sacrifice, right? So what does that mean? So it's like, I'll give you an example. So if I, like all the people on YouTube, right, or TikTok, you'll see them give money to a homeless person, right? That's acting out of, and then they post it for views and likes and shit. That's literally, they're only doing that act. They might be doing it a little bit out of love, but mainly they're doing it out of their ego to make them feel better about themselves, right? That's not necessarily the best or the right way to sacrifice and show love to others. So what Buddha expressed is learning how to serve without that out self-sacrifice, right? So like, don't serve others out of the pure goodness and pure love that resides in your heart, versus helping others out of the
Serve others as if you're serving yourself, right? Because you are serving yourself, right?
exactly.
Hmm. I mean, there's a whole lot of good teachings about that in Buddhism, Christianity, even like Jesus talks about that. The Law of One talks about serving others and how you need to polarize to the positive by serving others more than you serve yourself.
Yeah,
Even though it's kind of contradictory when they say that everyone else is yourself, but it's just the understanding in the third density of the ego thinking that I thought and separating that I from other people.
although I am is the most powerful thought in the
Yeah,
universe. But I
exactly. And
want
that brings us into the transcendental meditation.
to,
But whatever you were saying.
I want to bring up this point real quick, which like I try to always be conscious of and I practice right in my life. So Aaron Abkey, right? Look, you can go up on YouTube. He explains the law of one, the densities of consciousness very well. But he told a story of he went to a Christian college and he was practicing to be a or learning to be a pastor, all this, and he worked at a church, right? And he talked about there would always be a homeless man that would sleep outside the church, and the church is supposed to be a safe place. Like the church is supposed to always bring people in if they need help or if they need shelter, right? But then one day he found himself in conflict because he wanted to let the homeless man in and give him lunch for the day, but his the priest of the church, so like his boss in a sense, kicked the homeless guy out and said this guy is not allowed to be here. And then he eventually called the cops on the homeless guy for like loitering outside the church. So then that day, like Aaron had an internal conflict within himself because there's a scripture in the Bible. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's essentially seeing Jesus in everyone, right? So like Aaron brought this to the his priest, and he said like you call yourself a priest, but like you're not even like actively practicing like the teachings in the Bible. Like what if that guy on the corner was Jesus, right? So like that's something and that's like very powerful to see, like because your ego, you see a homeless man on the street or you see someone that's a little different from you and you automatically put judgment on them, right? But like when you look at that person that's a little different from you or a little comes from a bad area, whatever the case may be, and you essentially picture Jesus in them, you'll automatically never treat them wrongly, right?
Mhm.
And that even not even necessarily seeing Jesus in them, that's just another powerful term to use, but even more powerful is seeing yourself in them, because you never would treat yourself in a negative light, and you would own you I would think that most people would only serve themselves with love and wisdom.
You would hope.
I would hope. I would
Yeah,
think
you would.
most people do love
Yeah,
themselves. And
for
if you
sure.
don't, learn how to love yourself, because you can't love anything until you learn how to love yourself. That's fact.
Exactly.
It's a matter of fact on the planet
Exactly.
E.
That's a good story. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, isn't that powerful, right? Like
Yeah,
if
no, that is.
because I live in New Brunswick, I go to Rutgers, right? But like there's people all the time that it's extremely low vibrational, essentially a brick city matrix, right? Like not everyone is high vibe conscious wise, like, and I sometimes like judge people for that. And
Mhm.
like I'm doing that out of my spiritual ego, but like that is I
Yeah.
always after I do it, I like automatically always catch myself and it makes me feel bad because
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
damn,
just
I shouldn't be like judging anyone because like essentially they are myself.
it's impossible almost not to judge anyone when you understand
It
like
literally is impossible.
you aren't your thoughts, right? You make that separation of ego and you watch that thought go by. Like that's not your thought, that's not you. Like you're just seeing that thought go by. And like
That's the thing.
I don't know if you can ever truly silence the ego, right? And that's what
I
monks
don't think
spend
you
their whole lives doing, is just to silence the mind. That's their
and
whole entire purpose in life, is to silence the mind. And a whole most of them, I would say, probably don't even get to that point. So you just see how
and
difficult it is.
exactly. And if they can't get to that point,
Hmm.
no one on earth
Yeah,
is gonna 8
but
billion people.
it's just awareness that as long as you're aware and you're facing everything with with love, acceptance, forgiveness, I think that puts you in that high vibrational state. And like
Yeah,
the one big thing that I've been doing recently is a whole lot of shadow work, where you could just be sitting there, you could be driving, turn the music down, and just hear the rain hitting the car, hear the wind
I
going
know.
by the car, and you go into your thoughts and think about, oh, this happened to me in elementary school, I haven't thought about that in years. Or, oh, I remember this person from middle school did this to me. And it's those pent up emotions that you never
You don't
faced.
even, yeah, you
You
don't even,
never faced them. You forgot that they existed, but then you're like, oh, that's still there. And you know what? You all you have to do is just verbalize it, like, oh, I forgive that person. I forgive so and so. Oh, I'm okay with that now. I have acceptance for that. Once you're able to come to acceptance, forgiveness with that past, is where you can start working to really pave the true path to the future.
I'd like to do some shadow work right now on this pod.
All right, let's see it.
This is always eating me away, right?
Yeah.
So, and dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, bro. So essentially, when I was a little ass kid, I was playing baseball. My dad was my coach. I was probably like 8, 10 years old. I hit a ball or got a walk. I got a walk. I walked to first base, and he told me if I walked to steal second base like right away, right? And I stole second base off the walk, and I got thrown out, right? And I was a little kid. I was pissed that I got thrown out. I just wanted to be on the bases and run around. And I told my dad that he sucked. And I was crying, and like my dad was pissed. Like I told my dad he sucked. So, like that like eats me up right now, man, because like he was pissed about it. Didn't even talk to me for a couple days. I was only like 10 years old. I didn't know any better. But dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, man. I didn't
See,
mean it.
that's as simple as it is. Just recognizing that emotion that was sitting with you for so long, right? And it's
Yeah.
so easy because as soon as one comes, like that one comes, you could have another one pop up immediately, and they just start coming and coming. It's addicting, right? It's almost like same way you want to be smoke. People smoke cigarettes all the time, like, oh, I need another cigarette, like, oh, I need more forgiveness, like it's kind of funny. It's funny
Get
analogy,
addicted to
but
forgiveness.
get addicted to forgiveness, man.
Click. That's the clickbait for this video.
Get addicted to forgiveness, and then that's how we pave the path
Get
to
addicted to
5D.
forgiveness. Get addicted to 5D consciousness. Get addicted to self love. Get addicted to loving others. Get addicted to
Movement.
movement. Get addicted
Yes.
to learning esoteric knowledge. Get addicted to serving and living by the law of one. All this good stuff.
All the stuff that truly matters, man. I
It
mean,
all matters, and
I see
nothing
people.
even
It
matters.
upsets me when I see people occupying their brains with stuff that don't matter. Oh, she didn't answer my Snapchat. Oh, look at this person on Instagram doing this. Oh, my dad yelled at me this morning. Like, shut up. Like that shit don't matter. Like you're creating a problem in your head because every problem is created by you, right?
Yeah,
No
bro.
problem truly exists. If you take a step back and you say, oh, what problem do I have right now? There is none because you're living in the present moment.
That I
Nothing
was just about
wrong.
to say that.
Nothing.
Nothing can be wrong in the present moment.
Exactly.
And when you're fully present, like Corey and I are right now, like you get into that flow state. There's nothing better than being in the flow state. Like
Mm-hmm.
this was supposed to be quick bot. I think we're already going on like
20 minutes, 25
a
minutes
minute,
probably.
but it doesn't matter. Like I'm enjoying my time. It's what it's all about.
Staying creative. I think
And
that flow
creative.
state is awesome. Using that creative
That's
output. Like right now, I'm not drawing, I'm not painting or playing guitar like I do. But what
but
I'm doing is I'm creating thoughts and I'm putting
yeah,
verbal sound complexes as
put vibrations out into the universe, high
vibrations out
ones.
into the universe,
And
right?
that's a whole nother thing that I wanted that I just you just made me think of. Like we had Eric Delozer on the pod the other day, and he brought up anytime you have a negative emotion, right? To just sit down, let it be, right? Don't never like force your emotions or like get more angry or anxious at them. Just like simply let it be, and then use those negative emotions that reside within you and put it towards something positive and put it towards being more creative and give it a new positive light, right? Because all thing is just raw energy. This is what he was talking. Everything's just raw energy. There's no angry energy, there's no happy energy, like it's all just raw energy. So like if you feel like you're angry or you're upset or sad, all this stuff, like just take it and make it creative energy or make it good energy, happy energy,
Mhm.
joyful energy, like
And that
positive.
comes through the heart center, right? You feel
Yeah,
those negative emotions.
bring it to the heart.
Don't fight it. You bring them up through the heart. And when they hit those top three chakras, they turn into that positive energy. You can use it for creation, right?
It's like
Right there. You feel it when
the light prism you see, it's like
yeah, when you're meditating, you feel it and just going up through the cosmos.
you'll know you're doing something right, and it doesn't take that long, bro. Like
No.
you maybe not the first time you meditate, but low key, maybe even the first time you meditate, you start being conscious of your breath within like 15 minutes, not even, you'll start feeling a little bit of this, and you'll be like, "What is that? I don't really know." That's your pineal gland vibrating right there. That's what that is. You'll feel that in the
You feel
in,
the tightness of the pineal gland.
you'll feel, and then when you get really good, that not that we're really good, but when you start practicing more, you could quite literally, your eyes will start going like this, like the REM, the REM sleep,
Hmm.
like rapid eye movement. That's what that stands for. Your eyes will start going, and you'll be able to literally open and close it like
Yeah.
this, and you'll feel it open and close. That might
Hmm.
sound crazy, but it's science. Look up the pineal gland if you don't believe me. Like,
Exactly. Look at Doctor Strange meditating in Endgame when
yeah,
he goes
bro.
into it and his eyes are darting around everywhere and he's seeing all the possibilities of the universe.
You don't
Perfect
believe
example of
us?
it.
Watch Doctor Strange. That's full blown predictive programming right there. He's got all the arms. How do you think he's got all the arms, bro? Those aren't physical arms. It's fucking light. That's his light body, bro. That's like the Vitruvian man right there. Leonardo da Vinci. You got the physical, and then you got the light arms, and that's what that is when you see
Hmm.
he got, and he's like this. He's
Yes.
quite literally like this, doing a
Yes.
mudra with his
Doing
hand.
the mudras,
He's like,
right?
and
You
there's like
got
he has 8 arms, bro.
you got so many mudras, and
And then what
mudras
does he
aren't
do?
just hand signals because there's different mudras to
The
do
energy.
for blockages as well. But we'll
Bro,
get
you
into
want me
that
to
in
give a
another
story?
podcast.
I'll give
Um,
the story, and then we can wrap it up real quick.
yeah, go ahead.
But what is Doctor Strange also do, right? To open his interdimensional multiverse portals, right? Because that's a whole nother nonfiction
What does
story.
he do? Tell me.
This is what he does. He goes like, how does he open them, right? He goes like this, and quite literally opens them. When I was sitting in meditation about a week ago, and also if you look at some pictures of Jesus, he's depicted of going like this, right?
I got the picture. I got the picture
Oh,
of
yeah,
Krishna on the wall over
Krishna,
there
the
doing the.
Indian Jesus, essentially going like, he's like this, right? Sit down in meditation, and you'll once you activate the light body. This is what I did the other day. I was sitting there kundalini like this for a little bit, and then I activated my light body, and then I started going like this. I never tried this before, but I started going like this, pushing it out, because I saw this in the Tibetan monks documentary on YouTube, yogis in Tibet or whatever, and they were doing this, all this shit, right? And I started just going, pushing it out like
Mhm.
this, and then, and just making an energy circle around me by going like this. And I do it right now. I don't feel fucking jack. I don't feel anything like this. But I kid you not, when I was in that deep meditation, and I pushed my arm out like this, and I swiped right or left, right, whatever, I felt me move energy with my hands.
Because you were
No, I was.
not that you aren't moving it right now, but you aren't tapped into that high.
Yeah, I'm not conscious. I'm not. I was fully tapped into ether. That's why I was able to feel it move with me right now. Like I can't feel
Hmm.
it right now, but
Hmm.
it's definitely real. Look, like, do some research if you don't believe me.
Look up psionics and
Yeah,
how
like
they
the quantum
work.
field stuff that we're discussing. Like,
Yeah,
people call us crazy all the time, but like no one just has done the research like we have. Like, we've literally been putting in hours, more than years, not years worth, but over a year worth of um research
research
every
every
single
day, looking
day,
into this shit because
literally every single day.
it's almost like addicting. You get like
It's
it's
addictive
bad to
because
say, yeah, because
it's
it's like holy
addictive.
shit, like there's so much that I don't know, and that's the thing. As soon as you,
Why is it addicting though? Because you quite literally have human superpowers, bro.
exactly,
Like,
exactly,
why would you? We're telling you you have human superpowers. Whether you believe me or not, try it for yourself, and then you'll believe me because it's real. And then why would you ever want to not do that and unlock that
exactly,
your full human
exactly,
potential, your infinite potential of the Christ consciousness, man? Like, it's all real, and it's all here to stay, and it's the only way to move into the 5D earth and
exactly.
have the great awakening fully come into fruition. Shout out to all the Canadian truckers fighting for their freedom.
Facts.
Hi, Justin Trudeau, you're a little commie, bitch. I hope you hear this somehow.
We might get fact checked. Maybe Justin Trudeau isn't a
Oh yeah,
communist.
we're gonna get fact checked because they're all white supremacist, racist, misogynist truckers. Actually, if you didn't already quite literally know that,
Yeah,
they're not freedom fighters. There's no peace going on.
Mhm.
They're
The media is
they want
keeping
to.
us in a constant state of fear and dependency upon the system. Not that everything the media says is false, but it's meant to keep you in a low vibrational state, right? They're using editorials as fact, and that's not the case. The news is for entertainment. It's not for in the business of information, right? Pharmaceutical industries are paying all of the salaries of the news media, and the government is in cahoots with the pharmaceutical industry, and everything is just connected. The corporations are all working together to keep humanity collectively enslaved, right? And the Canadian truckers don't fucking like that. And frankly, I don't think most people don't, right?
Not even
And
just the truckers, bro. The whole fucking country's
the whole fucking
sitting at
country.
Ottawa, the capital, and they're ready to fucking wage war, man. But
Exactly.
good for them. We need more
Good for them.
people like that.
We need people waking up to the fact of what's going on in our world, right? And as soon as you wake up to the fact of what's going on, because I didn't wake up to my spiritual body and my essence until I woke up to what the fuck is going on in
Yeah,
this
it's a
world.
good way to wake up to your infinite potential.
Exactly. Because you realize that hidden occult knowledge,
Because you
right?
realize why is all of this happening? Why is the news trying to put me in a perpetual state of fear? Why is the government and the politicians lying to me all the time? Why is Big Pharma lying to me all the time? Why are they feeding me drugs that they're only not used to treat the disease, but only prolong it? Like all this fugazi, that's what really helped us start awakening to our infinite potential. But
Facts.
you know what is not infinite?
Is this fucking
Time
podcast
on this
is not
podcast.
infinite. All right. So we're
All
gonna
right,
head
thanks
out.
for listening to episode 8, guys. I hope you learned a little bit about how to send to the 5D, how to,
Yes,
and one
sir.
more thing, just always bring the 2 and the 1, the love and the wisdom. Boom, and you'll send to
Smack
the
together.
5D with us.
Love, acceptance, forgiveness, love, wisdom. Those are the 5 lessons you're taking away from today. All right.
Boom, baby.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.